You're listening to REIA Radio, the nationally trusted name in real estate investing. We dig deep to discover investors' why in real estate. If you want to skip all the BS and get in investors' heads, you're in the right spot. Be one of the thousands to check out REIARadio.com. Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. This is episode 227 with Owen Dashner and Ted. You officially liked that intro the best, huh?
Oh, it's cream of the crap.
Cream of the crap. Come on, man.
So how are you feeling today, Teddy? A little rough around the edges?
I didn't have one drink last night.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I was drinking a ginger ale with a lime in it.
And you went to bed at what time?
About 2 to 2:30.
Hence my question.
I still went to the gym this morning. I felt pretty proud about that. But
I know you've only mentioned it to like 8 people that we've run into.
By the way,
hey,
I've only seen 3 people today.
I just patted Ted on the head.
Yeah, thank you. So we have Fernando Angelucci in town for our REIA. And so that was last night. That was kind of fun. And we got to go do some lunch with him today.
You know what? Here's what I feel like around him. I feel instantly comfortable around Fernando. Do you know what I mean by that? Like,
yeah.
You ever meet people and you're kind of trying to feel them out and like you're not sure what they're all about? Like, he is, I don't know if it's just me or that's just him. His vibe.
He puts himself on the table.
Yeah. Well, he didn't get on the table, but we did eat lunch. And he's
well, you missed what happened last night, obviously.
Oh, evidently I did.
Yeah.
But no, great dude. And by the way, we had a one of my personal favorite episodes, and definitely in my top 5, was Fernando. And Ted lined him up to come speak in person in the Omaha REIA last night. I came, unfortunately, right at the end when he just got done speaking. I did want to meet him.
Pretty normal for you.
Oh, that is not true at all. I usually just don't show up, but I made it work. I had golf league and I drove all the way out there and then all the way home. So I feel proud of that, like you do with going to the gym.
I was proud of you, and we got to meet Dennis' sister also last night.
We did. That was nice too. Didn't get a ton of time to talk to either one of them last night, but it was awesome going to lunch with Fernando today, and he's back in Chi-Town now, probably.
He literally went from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and then spent a few hours in Chicago, and then jumped on a plane and headed right to Omaha.
Yeah,
he was spent.
Just dropping some knowledge bombs on self-storage and how scaling up and that whole asset class worked.
Oh, you
guys have got to. I mean, you got to go listen to that episode. If you've missed it, just search back through our episodes, and we'll have to add that in the show notes what episode it was. But I
think it was 87, if I remember right.
Okay, you would know, but yeah, it was so good, man.
Okay, so and if you want to hear his event speech, go to our YouTube channel, REIA Radio, and please subscribe to that.
Yeah,
and you can find that every event that we've held for the last 5 years right there on our YouTube channel, and that will most likely become a future podcast sometime this year for a time that you or I are sick.
Tons of good feedback, man. The minute I rolled in there, I had people coming up. They were like, "Oh my gosh, that was so good!" Like everybody told me that, and usually they were like, "It was okay," or "They did good."
What do you mean? Sometimes usually okay. They're usually like, "Hey."
No, not
Ted's
usually.
Events are almost always awesome.
I'm saying that everybody has varying opinions of guests and their presentation, and he nailed it. So good job, Fernando. We're proud of you, buddy.
He's like, you get me back in town. He's like, I have a 4-hour presentation I put together, and I want to just come give that knowledge. He goes, this group was so awesome. He goes, I definitely want to get back.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is, after listening to Fernando, which you already know what my standpoint is storage more on the radar?
For me personally?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because he's like, you find a deal? He goes, you want to just get a wholesale deal, a fee for it, or you find a deal and you want a partnership in it. You find a deal and you want to partner together on it. He goes, whatever scenario you have, I'm open. So then Hal Richmond gets up. He's like, I am doing the construction on a deal that I'm a partner in downtown Omaha. And this is what it is. Went through the square footage, went through exactly what the layouts were going to be. They both went back and forth for 10 or 15 minutes talking about the deal. And then in the end, it goes, Hal's like, what would it take to have you involved in helping us, with the analyzing it, the financials, advice, And people came to me and it's like, I was expecting him right then to say, I'll shoot you a call tomorrow. We'll discuss it one-on-one. And he goes, give me 5% equity on the deal and I'll do all that for you.
Wow.
Just negotiated the deal. They were going back and forth on what they could do with it.
I'm really bummed I missed that part.
And that was the most impactful moment for most of the people that were listening to that whole event.
That was really cool that he did that.
It was kind of Pace Morbius.
That would have been just easy to brush off and be like, oh, let's pick this up offline or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I would say I feel like a real novice when it comes to self-storage. I know just surface level stuff about it, despite, talking with Fernando and then, some other folks I know that own storage. But I like the idea of finding a place and then calling Fernando and somehow figuring out a way to partner with him. And, because I don't really want to own and operate it and do all the stuff. But I don't know what that would look like, but I would definitely like to find deals. That's what I find fun. Right?
Yeah. Find the deal.
Yeah.
Bring it to him. Tell him.
Maybe I could be like, give me 5% ownership.
Sign me in. And he said he'd offer that.
Perfect.
Not necessarily 5%, but he said a partnership just for bringing the deal.
Well, I heard 5. So anyway,
I think you're shortchanging yourself.
Anybody listening to this,
call us with your deal, and we'll put together Fernando.
Yeah, there you go. That'll be your thank you to us instead of your 5-star review, which we would also appreciate. Hey, so check this out. I have this. I've talked about this. I'm sure people are getting sick of hearing about this building, but I have this place, the one with the penthouse. No, different one. The other one that people are sick of hearing about, which is the penthouse one with the elevator and blah, blah, blah. And so I just got my asking price yesterday.
I didn't know you had it posted for sale.
I don't have it posted. I have
is this your property manager again?
Yes. So he found a buyer through another agent, and they basically, I said, look, here's the deal. Here is what I will sell it for. If I get an offer that's less than this, I'm not coming down off my number. Full stop. Like that. There you go. So sure enough, I get an offer that's $150K less. Right. And I'm like, nope. And, I get it. Like they're trying to put a deal together and get, a lot of people probably say they're not coming off the number and they actually do. And I'm like, listen, I don't think you're understanding here. I am not moving off this number. So if you want to come up to that, great. If not, we're not doing business. And that's fine. But they evidently are going to be signing a purchase agreement today for that. So that means now
you need some 1031.
I do need. So I have a little bit of time, because after you sell, you have 45 days to identify up to 3 properties that are potential replacements.
Hence why you sent me that property today.
Yes. And then you've got 180 days to actually close on that deal afterwards, right? So this is just refresher on 1031 exchanges. So what I do have now, though, is assuming this goes to close, and it should be a 60-day close. So I have those 60 days. So I've got the next 2 months plus another 45 days to identify up to 3 properties that could be potential replacements for this deal, or a combination of those. So if I find 2 smaller deals, I can combine them into 1 or 3 or whatever. But yeah, this kind of got real in a hurry. Now I'm kind of like not passively looking. Now I'm kind of like, oh shit, I need to go start looking right now.
You're also looking for a house. Do you just put some of that cash in your pocket?
Jen and I just talked about this today, where I could do a partial, and they call that a boot, where you don't roll your entire amount of your proceeds. So like, this particular deal, it's in between 2 and 3 million. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
And I've got a good chunk of equity in it, and a boot, and I'm going to call this today's Golden Nugget. So 1031 exchanges, like we just talked about, you're basically taking the proceeds from your sale in a property. You cannot touch that money. You have to place it with generally a title company that has a qualified intermediary, basically an escrow account. So you say, okay, we're closing the sale. Instead of sending the money to me or giving me a cashier's check or a wire, you hang on to that, put it in an escrow account until I've either find something, 3 properties that I'm going to identify in those 45 days, or I don't. And then if I don't, then that money will get kicked to me, and then I owe all the taxes on it. So all the capital gains, which sucks because I did a cost seg study on this too. So I'm going to have all that recaptured depreciation and a big nut, right, to pay here. But there's a provision there, and you can find this by going to irs.gov and then look for 1031 exchanges. There's a lot more detail there, but the gist of it is a boot is what is called the portion of your sale that you are not fully exchanging. So in this case, let's say it's $2.5 million. $2.5 million would be, if I want to do a complete 1031 exchange, the value of the property I'm replacing it with would need to be 2.5 million or more, right? And that's how that works.
Yep.
A boot is, let's say I found something for $1.5 million that I wanted to include in this roll, over into a new property, but there's $1 million still left. That amount would be called the boot. And that would be the amount that I will have to pay taxes on.
Yep.
So you can reduce your tax liability if you don't fully replace it with like kind of value for value or greater. So I'm kind of kicking around a few things. I mean, it could roll into a house and then another property, or just another property or properties. So it's kind of exciting and stressful.
I just did a 1031, a little creative 1031 deal last week that closed, and
As the agent?
Okay.
Yeah,
I had a client, we'll just say that, reach out to me and wanted to sell 2 properties, wanted me to find an off-market buyer because he had tenants in the properties. And
he didn't want to deal with showing it to 1 million people and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly why I did it.
Just wanted to use my contact list and get something done. So found the buyer. And then the buyer's like, well, man, you're going to have to help me sell this duplex I have too, because I'm ready to make this go away. I'm sitting on a ton of equity. And then the seller of the property is like, I'm going to need some 1031 and I need another Airbnb because these are all short terms.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, well, I know that he has a property you want to sell. You might be interested in it. And then, you can 1031 both ways.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever seen that happen very often.
I've never done one. So it was a trade.
Okay.
But they both 1031.
Interesting.
So we traded properties. We're able to both 1031 into both of them. The double property was obviously a bigger sale. So then he was able to take the other half of it and buy another property elsewhere.
Interesting. That's cool.
It was an interesting one. Yeah. So,
yeah. I don't know that I've ever even heard of that. I'm sure it happens out there, but like I've never seen that type of a deal.
I mean, it made sense in my brain, but I've never done one before. And I'm like, well, you guys are trading, so why can't you just 1031 both of them?
Who's the title company in that transaction?
So we used Aligned Title.
Title.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And they were able to pull that off. And
so they're a qualified intermediary. They can conduct those type of transactions. That's good. Okay. Yep. So shout out to Aligned Title. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, there's always a creative way of doing it. I wish I knew all the creative ways because there's every time we talk to somebody or I listen to somebody, there's some new creative way to buy a property, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, God, the possibilities are just endless.
They really are,
especially when you get to commercial and the bigger and bigger deals. I mean, it's just like you talk about banking. You're learning so much on banking all the time.
Yeah,
and it's just mind blowing. Like, hey, you're a pretty intelligent person. You know your shit, but there's always something else that you're like.
Yeah, I feel like a moron a lot of the times. It's just like what I know is not even close to what other people. You know what I mean? It's like you can never know all of it.
Yep.
Ever. No, that was, and when we were having lunch with Fernando today, that was interesting hearing his examples. He just rattled off 1 million of them. Like, he brought up buying self-storage with an SBA loan, which was what I don't think that's a commonly used method, or people maybe just don't even know about it. And you can do that for car washes as well. So an SBA loan, you can put 5% down as an owner operator if you qualify for the loan, right? So 5% down, so you could get $1 million asset for $50,000. That's amazing.
Can you do that on multiple deals or just your first deal?
No, you can do. In fact, it gets even better after you do your first one, because then you have proof of concept, and the SBA will actually allow you to do it. Which I'll have to fact check me on this, but I know talking with the Foleys, they've talked about doing this for the car wash businesses that they're involved in, and how SBA loans you can actually get, I think, 100% financing on your subsequent deals. I don't know how many of those you can do, but yeah, so SBA is kind of a slept on financing option.
I do have an SBA specialist contact.
Oh,
because I had an SBA provided coach for a little while.
Interesting. All right, so we may need to get them in here for a little sound bite here and there.
And maybe we can get a tax write-off for that.
Yes, I like tax write-offs. I need them this year, that's for sure.
Well, I love how we always go like from here to way out there in our these conversations.
Squirrel.
Yeah, but hey, we got to wrap it up. This is a real estate rundown. We like to keep this short, sweet, and to the point, kind of. But appreciate you guys. Appreciate you supporting us. We have a great episode coming up on Wednesday.
Andrew Devlin, you brought him into the fold here.
He's the right hand of Jason Drees with Jason Drees Coaching.
Yeah, and if you guys caught Jason Drees either in person or on our podcast episode, and if you haven't, you should, losers, listen to that. And so Andrew Devlin, basically right hand man with regard to business executive, life coaching, that type of stuff. I felt like I was interviewing Superman today with
Iron Man.
Yeah. So definitely look at the video version of this if you can. If you're on Spotify, typically they'll play the video alongside it. So check out. It is uncanny how much that dude looks like
Robert Downey.
Oh, I was gonna leave it nameless, so they had to look, Ted.
Well, I said Iron Man.
Yeah, it's actually Tony Stark.
Okay.
So anyway, but he is amazing. He's an amazing person and has overcome a ton of stuff in his life and is unbelievably motivating when you listen to him speak. I'm pumped to listen to that episode again just so I can digest it and apply some of the knowledge that he was dropping.
He does 2 group coaching calls in my program that I'm in a week, and every time I'm on those calls, I'm just like nuggets are dropping, and I'm literally just writing down notes. And I mentioned it in the podcast. I'm like literally like 50% of the posts I put out there have some sort of inspiration from him. I really look up to him. He mentally pushes me without, like on a group call, that's pretty hard, but he challenges you and pushes you. And one thing that he's really passionate about is him and his wife both are coaches, and they both lift each other up, and they have a podcast they do
Love
together.
Plus Money.
Yeah. So we always talk about work-life, family balance. He lives it. It's his whole life.
He's about to have 3 15-year-olds living in his house in addition to 17-year-olds. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Find out about that. And at one point, I actually got a little teary-eyed.
I got a little misty myself.
Yeah. He's got an incredible story. Check it out.
Blamed it on the lighting, but it wasn't. But yeah, stay tuned for that awesome episode coming up on Wednesday. Andrew Devlin, you don't want to miss this one.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Hey, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Leave us a review. Send us to somebody that's going to appreciate what we do. And yeah, it's been a while since we had a written review. I looked, and it has been months since we've had a written review. Months. Rita Urban was the last review that we've had on Apple, and it's been so long since we have a review on Audible that our reviews have deleted.
Aww.
Yeah, so I was on there. I was like, this podcast has no reviews. I'm like, what do you mean? We had like a dozen.
That's unacceptable.
So if you can help us on Audible, that'd be cool too. But with that, Owen Dashner, see us out.
On behalf of Ted Kosh, REIA Radio, and Aiden Bear.
Who?
Oh, he's not here.
He's not here.
On behalf of Ted Kosh and REIA Radio, I'm Owen Dashner, and you've been listening to the Real Estate Rundown. Signing off.
The crowd goes wild. We need a live studio audience sometime.
Yeah. Or just a laugh track.
He said all that last week in last week's episode.
Okay, can we cut this? Oh my God, I feel like a moron. Okay, where do we go from here?